Now I also promised I'd give you a basic non-milk recipe, an all-vegetable recipe that is also the base of many of my other top-selling soaps, and I have a secret for you. It's the exact same recipe as the goat's milk recipe, minus the goat's milk. So instead of incorporating the goat's milk at trace like we did, we would start back at the very beginning of the recipe when we incorporated our lye in the water, and we would use the full 29 ounces of water and incorporate the lye into that. All of the rest of the steps of making the soap are identical to what you just watched in the step-by-step video, and that is the base for most of my other recipes. In soap making, if you would like to make a lot of varieties of soap, stick to the same basic base. Then you can veer off that base just little bits and pieces and still create a good batch of soap every single time. For instance, I'll use the same basic recipe, the same amount of oils, the 29 ounces of water that you mix the lye into, and I may add oatmeal to it and add a lavender essential oil and make an oatmeal and lavender soap. However, I may decide to add like paprika at trace and use that as a colorant. It will turn the soap a kind of a light peachy color, and add a cucumber melon fragrance, and there you've got a cucumber melon soap. Variations of this basic recipe are virtually endless, but if you stick with this basic recipe, you're not going to end up with all kinds of batches that fail. What are some of the best fragrances for goat's milk soap? Well, I'd have to tell you the #1 fragrance is oatmeal milk and honey from Sweet Cakes. If you check their website, they will also acknowledge that that is their #1 selling fragrance. The other fragrance that I think sells second best to that is using a lavender essential oil and having a lavender and milk soap. Now I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can make your soap more economically and realize greater profits if you're going to sell it, or just realize more of a savings in making your soap if you want to use it, make it for personal use. The first thing is I buy some of the more exotic oils like the coconut and the palm oil in a larger unit. Even if you don't want to get a 35-pound pail of those oils, you can get like a 7-pound container, and you're going to save so much money versus buying little jars at the grocery store. Another place where I save money is shopping at a bargain store where they sell cans that are dented and bent. And even just today, I was there and I found giant gallon-sized containers of the light olive oil, and they were $6. Now, at the local warehouse grocery that I sometimes shop at, those same containers will cost about $20. So that knocks the price of the soap and each bar of soap way down. I also highly recommend that you consider growing a lot of the things that you might wish to put into your soap. For instance, if you'd like to put lavender or calendula or other types of even poppy seeds, you can grow a number of different things that you can incorporate into your soap and thus eliminate that extra expense. You can also dry different flowers, herbs. Just the possibilities are endless. So think about the different kinds of soap you'd like to create. I've always desired to create a soap with loofah incorporated right into the soap. And so you could grow loofah. Did you know that it's actually a gourd? And they're very easy to grow in the garden. And you can harvest your loofah and incorporate those into your soap without the added expense of purchasing those. Another product that you can buy in bulk to save money is lye. Now, there are a couple of things about the lye that I didn't like. I have purchased the lye in bulk once, and I'm choosing not to do it again for a couple of factors. First, where I live, we have a lot of heat and humidity, And if you allow the humidity to get into the lye, it will form in like clumps and solid pieces. And those clumps are virtually unusable. So I choose not to do it because of that reason. Also, I've developed a little bit more of a sensitivity to the lye, and working with that bigger container just exposed me to a larger amount of lye at one time. You can certainly save almost half the amount. You can cut your price of the lye in half by purchasing it in bulk.